Here we have the Dracaena Anita. This kind of looks like a Dracaena mixed with a spider plant, if you ask me. Usually Dracaena leaves are much more rigid, but yeah, this is giving me spider plant vibes for sure. But anyway, let's get into the care instructions for this plant. First of all, going to need very bright light. You can see there's not a ton of green on this plant, which tells me this is a bright light Dracaena. There are plenty of Dracaena that can take a lower light setting, but if you put this in too low of light, it's going to lose its vibrant color. So give it a nice wide view of the sky. Now, if you know you have a really hot window, say it's south facing or west facing, you know it's a really hot glass, back it up off the windowsill a little bit. It doesn't need to stay like right on the windowsill. Make sure you back it off a foot or two if you know it's really hot, but still maintain a nice wide view of the sky. Get down on the plant's level, check out the unobstructed sky. It needs that to do really, really well and to prevent etiolation and all this leaning and everything that you oftentimes get when you put plants into low of light. If you're not sure about lighting, or if you need more help with figuring out the lighting for your plants, definitely I recommend watching our lighting video here on YouTube. We also have some demonstrations on TikTok. As many examples as you can get, I think, really helps you build confidence in understanding your light. As far as watering goes, this is going to be pretty typical for Dracaena. In the spring and summer months, this plant is going to be actively growing. Okay, so this is when you're going to see a lot of the new foliage coming out. So during the spring and summer months, we water when they're about 25% dry. During the fall and winter months, they're going to go dormant. We're going to see very little new growth. You might not see any new growth at all. That's perfectly common. During that period, those fall and the winter months, we water when they're about 50% dry. It's important to remember that no matter what time of the year it is, growth period or dormancy, we are giving the plant a full soak. So, in its prospective time, whenever the plant is ready to be watered, your goal is to saturate every bit of soil in the pot, of course allowing all the excess moisture to drain out, okay? They never want to sit in water, so make sure they're draining freely, and then you can put it back on display. Now, another thing that's really common with Dracaenas, you'll see the brown tips coming. Now, that can be avoided in part by using more pure water. Dracaenas seem to be a little bit sensitive to tap water. Now, your tap water might be fine. It's going to differ from region to region, city to city, what the quality of your tap water is, and as far as what they add to the water is going to change from your location. So we always recommend using a distilled water, reverse osmosis, or rainwater if it's legal to collect where you are. The more pure you can get your water, the more you're going to avoid the brown tips. But I would still expect some browning of the tips. That's just the nature of the plant. Even under perfect conditions, this plant will have a little bit of brown tips, but it doesn't really detract from the overall beauty of the plant at all, if you ask me. As far as repotting goes, we want to do that every 2 years, or when the roots are coming out of the bottom drainage system here. And I like to use 1-to-1 ratio of houseplant soil mixed with cactus soil. As far as fertilizing goes, we use a general purpose houseplant fertilizer throughout that growing season, which again is spring through summer months. Liquid, soluble, or granular should be perfectly fine. But that's going to do it for the care instructions for the Dracaena Anita. If you already grow this plant, let me know in the comments below and how you grow it. But other than that, if you have any questions, of course, just leave them down below and I'll do my best.